All right, we're back for our week number 12 NFL predictions here on the channel. We've been doing really well recently with the NFL picks, and we're going to try to continue that this week here. We've got 13 games in the NFL this week with 6 teams on byes. Those teams are the Atlanta Falcons, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the New York Jets, the New Orleans Saints, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So no fading the Jets this week, unfortunately, because, that team can't beat the Indianapolis Colts at home. I don't know, man, but we've got 13 games this week, and folks, if you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. Again, we do one of these every single week, along with daily NBA predictions, daily college basketball best bets, weekly college football predictions, and if after you're done watching this video, go check out the college football picks. Over 2.5 hours of college football picks for this week, and a in-depth breakdown on Indiana versus Ohio State. So go make sure to check that video out. Also go make sure to check out our UFC Macau China predictions with Piotr Jan and Deiveson Figueiredo in the main event for the UFC this week in the bantamweight division. All right, let's get into the first of 13 games. We start on Thursday Night Football. You've got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. I understand why people are calling this a trap game, and literally when you click on the Cleveland Browns homepage on ESPN, it says, could the Steelers be set for a trap game against the Browns? I completely get it. I saw a TikTok the other day, or literally yesterday, about how the last 3-4 years, Pittsburgh has always ran into that one team with a bad record and lost. I mean, the one that's most, you probably remember the best is probably the COVID season where they went to Washington and lost to the Washington football team at the time, and Alex Smith, that game that really propelled Washington to the postseason that year. But the Steelers kind of have that game every single year. Obviously, again, Pittsburgh is going to be in the postseason this year. They're 8-2. They're coming off a huge victory over the Baltimore Ravens in their last one. I have no doubt in my mind that Pittsburgh's not going to be a postseason team. I get they have struggles on offense, sometimes at least in the red zone. Obviously, they had 6 Chris Boswell field goals that won them the game last week against Baltimore. Russ in the offense could not get the ball in the end zone. But Pittsburgh's going to be a postseason team because of their defense alone. Again, I don't know how far they will go in the postseason in all fairness, but this is a good team. Their offense will not blow you away, obviously, but their defense is going to keep them in every single game that they play. I get it being a trap game, night game on the road in Cleveland. I'm not going to fall for the media trap that I think this game is. I'm serious. I think this is just all the media trying to make this game interesting. I don't think this game's close. I think Jameis Winston's going to throw multiple interceptions in this game, and I think the Steelers are going to win this game pretty easily. 3.5 points, I think it's a bargain here. I really think it is. Again, I feel like this is just the media trying to make this a trap game when it's in reality not. I think the Steelers are going to absolutely not blow out, but I think they're going to win this game pretty easily in Cleveland. The Browns are coming off a 21-point loss to the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston did throw for 395 yards in his return to the Superdome, but the turnovers cost them. They really can't run the football. Not like they're going to be able to run against the Steelers either. But, Nick Chubb's been held in check every single game since he came bajust from injury. I believe Chubb's going to hit free agency this year too, so we'll see what happens there. If Chubb's hitting free agency, I don't think he's going to return to Cleveland. I'll be honest with you. I just don't see it happening. I feel like a team. Obviously, he's not going to go to the Ravens, but a team like the Ravens, when they got Derrick Henry last year, are going to go out and get Nick Chubb and try to bolster their team, obviously, to try to make a title push. I don't know who that's going to be, honestly. I could see maybe, I don't know. I could see Arizona doing it if James Conner's, kind of starting to dwindle down a little bit. I don't know. I'm just throwing out teams. Washington, maybe. I don't know. They have Brian Robinson. I could see some team. The Bucks. I can see the Bucks doing it. Even though they have a lot of backs, but they're all pass-catching backs, right? Regardless, I could see a team, again, a contending type team, try to go out and get Nick Chubb in the offseason. I think the Steelers win this football game, though. I'm not going to fall into what the media thinks this game is. At least they're trying to push the narrative of this game. The Steelers have the way better defense. The Browns are going to barely be able to score. Pittsburgh's going to turn over Cleveland multiple times this game, and Russ in the offense is just going to be able to do just enough. I get it's a division game, but I'm taking the Steelers to win, and I don't think it's that complicated of a pick. Give me Pittsburgh minus 3.5 on the road on Thursday night against the Browns. Next up, we go on to New York. We've got the New York Giants hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Daniel Jones has been demoted to quarterback 4, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't even think he should have been benched for Tommy DeVito. Now, for Drew Lock, sure. I don't know why Tommy DeVito's starting over Drew Lock. I'm not there. I'm not in that Giants camp, but I saw a video today that Daniel Jones is getting 4th team reps out there for the Giants. It's DeVito, Drew Lock, Tim Boyle, who I don't know still has a job. Tim Boyle's thrown more interceptions and touchdowns in both college and in the NFL. I don't know how he's still in the NFL. But Daniel Jones apparently is 4th. It's ridiculous. I don't think he's worse than Tommy DeVito. So my assessment of this game is Tommy DeVito does nothing other than hype up the fans to actually win them this football game. Tampa's more than due for a victory. They've lost 4 in a row against 4 very good teams. Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City. I don't know if we want to put the Niners in the very good team conversation because of their abysmal play, but we'll get to the 49ers eventually, trust me. But here's the thing about the Buccaneers. This is the start of their playoff push. I don't know if Tampa loses another game the rest of the season, and if they do, it's only going to be one more. Is 10-7 going to be enough for the Bucs to get into the postseason? I don't know. It might be enough to win the division. You would need them, the Atlanta Falcons, to go 9-8 for that to happen. I don't know. It would require the Falcons to lose 3 more games, which I definitely think is possible. Chargers, Vikings, Commanders. And the Bucs only lost to the Chargers. They could definitely still win this division. Guys, listen to their schedule. Giants, Panthers, Raiders, in Los Angeles. That might be a rough one. In Dallas, Carolina, New Orleans. They can easily finish this year out with only 1 more loss. That's 10-7. I don't know if that gets you a wild card in the NFC, but I think it's a definite possibility Tampa can really look to make the postseason here. This is the start of that run right now. Right now it's the start of that run. They're going to beat up on the Giants. This game's not even that close, honestly. Again, what does Tommy DeVito do that helps the Giants win this football game better than Daniel Jones? I'm serious. What does he do? Nothing. I think Drew Lock would have helped them a lot, but I don't think Tommy DeVito fixes any problems. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to run right over the New York Football Giants on the road. Give me Tampa Bay -6. This, again, is the start of Tampa Bay's push to winning the NFC South. I think it is. Seriously, we mapped it all out. They only lose to the Chargers from here on out, and for the Falcons, they lose in Minnesota, they lose to the Chargers, and they lose to the Commanders. Boom, that puts Tampa Bay in the NFC South, or it puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their 4th straight NFC South championship, and it puts them in the postseason. Don't lie to yourself. You want to see that. You don't want to see the Atlanta Falcons in the postseason, because they will get one and done. Tampa will give a team some problems. I'm serious. Some problems. I'm serious. You want to see Tampa in the postseason, you don't want to see Atlanta. Trust me, I don't want to watch the Falcons in the postseason. Okay, let's move on to our next one here. You might laugh, but I'm taking the Carolina Panthers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, hear me out. This might be a crazy take. No, it definitely is a crazy take. I completely understand that. Take this with a grain of salt. I really like the +11 here. I'm kind of getting, a little bit extra here at the Panthers money line. For sure, give me +11 Carolina. Hear me out on the Panthers winning this football game. Just hear me out. The Panthers right now are playing their best football of the season. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Bryce Young has never had more confidence. Hold on. Let me find Bryce Young's Instagram post that he posted after they won in Germany against the Giants. Hold on. Let me just find it. And tell me this isn't a guy who has all the confidence in the world right now. Where is it? Here we go. It's a Drake line, obviously. Bryce Young from Munich, Germany. 7 a.m. in Germany. Can't believe that they heard of me. Again, I don't even know if Bryce Young runs his own Instagram page. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Who knows? But tell me that's not a guy who's got ultra confidence in himself right now, okay? Chuba Hubbard is one of the best backs in the NFL right now. And on top of that, they get their rookie out of Texas, Jonathan Brooks, back for the first time in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Hear me out why I'm taking them over Kansas City, okay? Look at the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has not been an elite quarterback this season. He's been I'm not even going to say above average. He's been an average quarterback in the NFL this season. It's been their run game, and it's been their defense that has won them football games this year. They lost last week to the Bills. All right, Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes. But here's the thing about this Carolina game. This is the trap game everyone should be talking about this week. Kansas City goes on the road to play Carolina. Carolina's hot right now. Bryce Young has found his confidence. He's 2-1 after returning to the starting job. He beat New Orleans at home. Now he gets Kansas City at home. Hear me out. Isaiah Pacheco comes back from injury this week. At what percent will Pacheco be? They haven't even officially cleared Pacheco yet as of time of recording. I assume he's going to play, but this is what I think about this. I don't know. His first game back, it's that whole, can you trust Pacheco to give you the same production Kareem Hunt has given you? I don't think so, at least right off the bat. And I'm not just saying that because I have Kareem Hunt in fantasy. I'm not just saying that. Well, maybe I am. But still, I think the Panthers are able to scrap one out here. I'm not joking. +11, definitely. The money line, okay. It's this is a hot take. I know it is. But this is the biggest underdog we're probably going to take all season long. I like the Carolina Panthers to win at home, +450. Bryce Young wins the biggest game of his career. Again, don't tell me Bryce Young can't win the big game. He's done it in college before. And now here you go. Bryce Young's going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Give me the Carolina Panthers to win, +11 and the cover. Carolina beats the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not a joke. Give me Carolina to win the football game. Next up, we go on to Washington. Landover, Maryland. You've got the Washington Commanders taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys might be the worst team in the NFL. I'm not mincing words when I say that. This might be the worst team in football. I actually despise watching the Dallas Cowboys play football. The only fun part about watching the Cowboys is, oh, Brandon Aubrey might hit a big kick. Other than that, this team, they're not a fun team to watch. They're absolutely horrible. The Commanders by 20. I'm serious. This is not a close game. This is a game that gets Washington back on the right track. They've lost 2 in a row to both the Pennsylvania teams and the Steelers and the Eagles. Now this is where they get their get back. They beat the Cowboys here. Guys, we're going to have to watch next week the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving. Normally, it's just... Actually, I don't know. The Cowboys sometimes suck, but like... sometimes you look forward to the Cowboys Thanksgiving game. But I don't know why they always insist on giving us the worst games for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It's always the Giants. It's always when the Commanders are bad, it's the Commanders. They just give us crap games. It's the Bears. Like, can we just replace the Cowboys on Thanksgiving? I'm serious. Like, I know you can't. It's tradition, but it's weird when the Lions are the most anticipated game of Thanksgiving this year. It's crazy. And then you get Packers-Dolphins on the nightcap. That's a great game. But then in the middle of those games, you got to watch the Cowboys and the Giants. Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito. Ridiculous. The Cowboys absolutely suck. They're just horrible. They haven't won a football game since October, where they somehow beat the Steelers. But they lost to the Lions, Niners, Falcons, Eagles, Texans. This team's horrible. They're absolutely god-awful. They might not win another game the rest of the season. And Colin Cowherd has putting out this idea, and I like it. The Cowboys should draft Shedeur Sanders. I know you have Dak Prescott, but hear me out. You get Shedeur Sanders, you get Dion. The Cowboys are never going to have the most intrigue and hype around them than if they get those two. I'm serious. Because obviously, whatever they've got going right now is not working. Dak Prescott's not working. I know he's hurt, but still. The Dak era, let's be honest, guys, other than the first year, has not been very successful. And even in that first year, they got the 1 seed and lost the Packers in the first round of the playoffs, the divisional round. This is not working. This regime is not working. Mike McCarthy's not working. Dak Prescott, again, he's not a bad football player, but it's not working. You know what they should do again? You go out and you get Shedeur, you get Dion, and now players want to play in Dallas. Now they become America's team again. They're not going to do it, but I like the take. Because obviously, whatever's going on right now in Dallas is not working. Give me Washington to win the football game. I get it, they've lost back-to-back games. Daniels should have he should return to his, rookie of the year form this week. The Commanders by any way they want this. This game will be over at halftime. Give me Washington to dominate Dallas. Oh, it's a division game. Don't care, the Cowboys suck. They absolutely suck. Next up, we move on to Miami. You got the Dolphins taking on the New England Patriots. Again, we are right now in the middle of this Miami Dolphins playoff push, because that's exactly what this is, okay? I think Miami's going to the postseason. I think they will edge out the Denver Broncos. I get it, the Broncos have a somewhat easier schedule, but I think the Dolphins find a way to get in. I don't know if the Dolphins lose another game the entire rest of the way. I'm serious. I think they might run the table here. An 11-6 Dolphins team will get in. They're only 1 game behind Denver, so really they only have to make up that 1 game. They don't play this year, right? I don't think they do. They don't. I don't know the tiebreaker is going to work on that, but I think the Dolphins are still going to get in. I think that's your 7th team in the AFC playoffs, and I think you get them and maybe the Chiefs again in the 2-7 matchup. Regardless of that, though, I think the Dolphins beat the hell out of the Patriots here. The Patriots, they beat the Bears, but, everyone could beat the Bears right now. I could take my local high school team, and they could probably beat the Chicago Bears right now. The Patriots, again, lose by 6 points to the Rams. They were down by much more. They just came back in the end, scored a garbage time touchdown. The Dolphins are 10 times the team the Patriots are right now. Again, New England has shown, signs of progression. Obviously, Drake May has been pretty good for this football team, obviously. But their lack of a run game really concerns me. I get Ramondre Stevenson's going to give you about 70 yards a game, but I don't know. It's not a consistent rushing attack. I think Drake May's the best runner on this football team, I'll be honest with you. And the receiving core is just so mid. I mean, you got who? You got Hunter Henry's their leading receiver, then Demario Pop Douglas, then Kayshon Boutte, then Austin Hooper, Kendrick Bourne, who had a big game in their last one, who just came back from injury. Jalen Polk has been just nothing for the Patriots so far this season. You can't rely on the Patriots to win football games, nor can you rely on them to cover when the game is in Miami, too. Again, the Dolphins are playing their best football right now. I thought the Dolphins spread last week against the Raiders was highway robbery. I feel like this is as well. Again, Miami is way better right now. Obviously, again, we said it when Tua came back from injury, but I'll preface it one more time. This team has a different feel to it when Tua Tagovailoa is back on the field. Devon Achane returns to being a very productive player. Jalen Waddle returns to being a very productive player. Jonnu Smith, and obviously Tyreek Hill. And we're still waiting for that 1 game where Tyreek Hill blows up. I have a feeling it's on Thanksgiving, but we'll see if it's tonight as well or Sunday as well. Give me the Miami Dolphins to lay the smackdown on the New England Patriots. They will dominate this football game, and they will cover the 7.5 points as well. Next up, we move on to Houston, Texas. You've got the Houston Texans at home here against the Tennessee Titans. Again, I say it every week, but I think the Tennessee Titans are getting back on the right track. I think they are. I get it, this team's 2-8, but the Titans were never making the playoffs this season. After they lost their first 3 games, the season was a wash, okay? This season is now all around development of Will Levis. It is. It sucks because this team hasn't been able to run the football the last 2 weeks since Levis has returned. 47 yards Tajay Spears had in the Chargers loss. Pollard was nowhere to be found. Last week, Will Levis was their leading rusher with 18 rushing yards. Obviously, they have the 98-yard touchdown Levis to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Calvin Ridley obviously is going to be the main receiver on this team, but Westbrook-Ikhine hasn't been horrible either for this team. Really, he scored a touchdown, I think, 5 of the last 6 games, so good for him. The Texans do have them outmatched, I'll give them that, but I do think Tennessee covers the spread. The Texans only blew out the Cowboys because the Cowboys are absolutely atrocious at football. But other than that, again, the Texans have struggled to cover this 8-point spread a lot this season. Beat the Colts by 3 points, beat the Bills by 3 points, beat the Jaguars by 4 points, beat the Bears by 6 points, beat the Colts in the first game by 2 points. I don't rely on the Texans to win this game by multiple scores. I do think the Titans are going to be in this football game. I truly believe it. Again, I might be a bigger Will Levis guy than pretty much anybody else watching this video, but I get the vision with Will Levis. Seriously, I think the 3rd season for Will Levis in the NFL is going to be a good one. I think the Titans need to put the pieces around Will Levis so that they're better. But, guys, this AFC South is incredibly weak. It's the worst division in the NFL. I don't think the Texans are that good. They're 7-4, I get it. I think this is a one-and-done team in the postseason. I really think they are. I mean, I get it. They're injured. Nico Collins is back now. Obviously, Diggs is out for the season. I get that. I just don't think Houston's all that great. Again, they have a rough schedule coming up, too. They play the Titans, they play the Jaguars, but then I think they're losing 3 in a row after that. They get the Dolphins, Chiefs, and Ravens. I think they'll lose all 3 of those games. I think the Texans are a 10-7 division winner, which, again, will get them in because I don't think the Colts are that good, and that would only require if the Colts lose one more game, they're not going to go 10. They're not going to have the tiebreaker over the Texans at 10-7. And look who the Colts happen to play this week. I'll get to that. I think that's the next game. I think it is. Yeah, it is. So the Texans will be fine. They're making the postseason, but how far do they really go once you get there? Because this is the thing. I think they're going to get the Ravens in the first round of the playoffs. I think the Ravens are going to go into Houston and win that football game, or they'll get the Steelers. They'll get whoever doesn't win the AFC North. Again, the Texans are going to get there because they play in a piss-poor division, and they are better than all these teams, sure. I just don't trust Houston to win once, it does hit January. I get it. Joe Mixon's been carrying the load for this team. He's been great for Houston. CJ Stroud's been all right, but it hasn't been the CJ Stroud of last year, obviously. I remember we predicted this somewhat regression in week number 1. Not to say Stroud's bad at all. I just didn't think he was going to have that superstar season that he had last year, and obviously he hasn't. I like the Texans to win this football game, but I don't think they cover the 8 points. I think the Titans, again, are showing those signs of improvement, and I think the Titans are good enough to not lose this football game by 8 points. It can be Tennessee to cover with Will Levis and Calvin Ridley. We'll see if Pollard can finally get going again, but I do think Houston ultimately wins the football game here in Texas at NRG Stadium. Give me the Titans to cover, but give me the Texans to win. Next up, we go to the best team in the NFL. You've got the Detroit Lions going on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Lions remain in the Dome. Perfect. They go to Lucas Oil, and the Lions beat the crap out of the Indianapolis Colts. That's fool's gold, guys. Last week's Colts victory over the Jets. That's fool's gold. Yes, Indianapolis is actually back in the postseason race. They definitely are. They have an easy schedule down the stretch. I'm not joking. It's all going to come down to their game when they go to Denver. I don't think they win the Peyton Manning Bowl in Denver, but still. This game against the Lions this week, it's a wash. The Lions are going to absolutely dominate this football game. Again, this is the best team in the NFL. And I'm going to say now, I am reviving the Jared Goff MVP campaign, all right? I'm doing it. We're bringing it back. The 5-interception game in Houston on Sunday Night Football made me kind of get rid of it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop pushing this agenda of Jared Goff winning the MVP. After his game last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, we are back. 412 yards and 4 touchdowns for Jared Goff. Yes, we are back on the MVP run for Jared Goff. Okay? Tell me who deserves the MVP over him. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Oh, okay. Well, let's see where Baltimore's record is at the end of the season. And let's see where the Detroit Lions record is at the end of the season. We are going to take record into account for this most valuable player award. I get it, stat-based, sure. But if Jared Goff is 16-1 with the Detroit Lions and the 1 seed in the NFC playoffs, and Lamar Jackson's the number 5 seed, or hell, the 6th seed actually, God, I can't speak English. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know, man. Joe Burrow, I get it, but you're not giving Joe Burrow the MVP for a team that misses the postseason. The Bengals are not making the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. If the Bengals are winning football games, this MVP is Joe Burrow's. It's not even close. But kind of just can't give Burrow the MVP for a team that's probably going to finish, a game under 500. Just can't. Yeah, Jared Goff's the MVP. I think he'll get it. As long as he doesn't have another 5 interception game, the numbers Jared Goff's putting up on a weekly basis is insane. He's throwing the ball at a 75% completion rate. Doesn't get better than that. And I get it. Oh, he's got the best running back. He's got the best running back duo in the NFL with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I will give you that. Sure. But that's not Jared Goff's fault that he's playing with the best supporting cast in the NFL. He's making the most out of that. I like the Detroit Lions to win this football game, obviously. 7.5 minus 400. Sure. We'll take it. We'll take anything with the Detroit Lions. I'm serious. For the Colts, Anthony Richardson played well last week. I'll give him that. I think AR played a really good football game. Maybe, again, benching him was the best thing that could happen, because maybe AR plays better now. But unfortunately for Anthony Richardson, this isn't the game, that you really want him to play. The Lions have a great defense. I get it, they're injured, but, they'll be fine. They're going to get Anzalone back for the postseason. Hutchinson, we'll see. But Zadarius Smith obviously is now in that spot. I like the Lions a lot, man. This is the best team in the NFL, and it's really not that close. I think you're lying to yourself if you don't think the Lions are the best team in the NFL. Watch them play on a weekly basis. Again, I know I'm pumping up the Jared Goff MVP campaign, but this team won a football game where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. Again, you saw last week. I get it's the Jaguars, but you saw last week what happened when Jared Goff doesn't turn the ball over. They win the game 52-6. And this is the 3rd time this season the Lions have completely just blown a team out. The Jags 52-6. The Cowboys 47-9. And the Titans 52-14. This is craziness that's happening. They don't lose a game the rest of the season. They don't. Bears on Thanksgiving. Packers on Thursday night. Bills, Bears, Niners on Monday Night Football, Vikings. They go 16-1. I said it a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. The Lions do not lose another game for the rest of the season. They're not losing. Nobody is beating this Lions team. The best chance anybody has, I think, is the Philadelphia Eagles, but I think the Eagles' quarterback play keeps them from beating Detroit. I will get to that eventually. Maybe not today because, I don't think Jalen Hurts is hurting them right now, but in the postseason, I do think Jalen Hurts is going to hold this team back a little bit. I'm just going to be honest with you. Give me the Detroit Lions to go to Indianapolis and win. They will blow out the Colts. The Colts will return it back to what we thought they were. Again, a win over the Jets. Let's just be honest with ourselves, guys. A win over the Jets doesn't mean anything. Anybody can beat the Jets. Give me the Lions to win the football game. I want to see, I want to see the Jets and the Bears play. I want to see what dumpster fire would come out of that. Guys, the Lions win this football game. The next week, they will beat the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving by 42 points. I'm not joking. They will. Dan Campbell's going to put on a statement in that football game. Give me the Detroit Lions to beat up on the Colts on the road. Detroit now goes to what? 10-1 in the season? Incredible. The Lions are going into Thanksgiving 10-1. Unheard of. Let's move on to the final morning game of the 10 o'clock / 1 p.m. starts. You've got the Minnesota Vikings going on the road to the Chicago Bears. Again, anybody can beat the Chicago Bears. This team is horrible. I get it. They missed a game-winning kick last week. But you know what? That momentum and the team morale keeps on spiraling down for the Bears. It keeps getting worse. I get it. They should have won that football game last week. Cairo Santos got the game-winning kick blocked. I get it. They should have won, 100%. I was so pissed off at the Packers watching that football game, but how they came through. Okay? The team morale, again, continues to spiral downwards for the Chicago Bears. The Hail Mary lost at the Commanders. The Cardinals beat their ass. The Patriots dominate at Soldier Field. And the Bears block a kick to win the football game. And now you get the Vikings. And you know who you get next week? You got to go to Detroit on Thanksgiving. I mean, it continues to get worse. It continues to get worse for the Chicago Bears. And it will get worse this week. The Vikings they've not played lights out. This is the end of their 3-game road trip. They were in Tennessee. They were in Jacksonville. Now they go to Chicago. I think the Vikings are very beatable. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this team's that great. I just think they're way better than the Chicago Bears, though. They just are. we'll see. I don't know how Sam Darnold plays down the stretch. It would take a monumental collapse for the 8-2 Vikings to miss the postseason. They will definitely get there. It's just a matter of, I don't know how well they play come the postseason. Now, if they are able to get that 4-seeded Falcons team in the first round, they probably will beat the Falcons. But I don't know how far this team really goes with Darnold at the helm. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And I did hear, and I did see this, I don't know how serious this is, but I don't mind this. J.J. McCarthy's not 100% next season. He's getting a second surgery. The Jets want to push Aaron Rodgers out. How about Aaron Rodgers follows the Brett Favre path and he comes on down to Minnesota next season? Just saying. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I think it would work. Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball at Justin Jefferson. I get it. Oh, he got Devontae Adams. He's going to leave him? Well, I don't know. Maybe Devontae can force his way out again. The Jets are a whole nother thing. Thank goodness the Jets don't play this week because I would rip that team to shreds right now. They're horrible. They're absolutely god-awful. But again, the Bears might be even worse. I'm serious. The Bears might be even worse than this. Chicago's just bad. Caleb Williams, again, is not horrible. But they just have games where they just stall out on offense. And, Caleb hasn't been bad, but at the same time, Caleb hasn't been good. Other than that last drive. The last drive for Caleb Williams, phenomenal. Won him the football game until it didn't. Until they blocked the kick. So sure, Caleb has not been the problem. I will give you that. Caleb has not been close to the problem. But at the same time, Caleb hasn't gone out of his way to win this team football games. He hasn't excelled. He's been decent, but he hasn't been a superstar. And I get he's a rookie, but still, Caleb's going to have to be a superstar to beat teams this season with the Bears. The run game has been very abysmal, and Caleb's just been okay. Give me the Vikings to win this football game, and I don't think it's that actually, no, the Vikings play everyone close. But I do think they cover. 3.5 is not a lot, so give me the Vikings by 4 or 5. I think it'll be a one-score game, but I do think it'll be more than 3 points. So give me Minnesota to win the football game here on the road. Again, I can't trust the Bears to beat anybody, so give me the Vikings to win again on the road at Chicago. Next up, we go on to the afternoon slate. You've got the Denver Broncos taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me the Broncos here. I don't really know why the line's this close. Division game, sure, but the first time these two teams played, the Broncos beat the Raiders by 16 points. I get it was in Denver, but still. The Broncos are somehow 6-5, and they're in the postseason. Are they going to stay in that spot? Probably not. I do think they lose eventually. I think, again, their last 3 games of the season is a brutal stretch. It really is. And hell, even if they do get past the Colts at home in the Peyton Manning Bowl, then they got to go to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, got to go to Cincinnati to play the Bengals, and then you get the Chiefs in the last game of the season, where the way I see it right now, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be resting guys the last game of the year. I think they are going to be still be playing for that number 1 seed. With all that being said, again, yeah, this is going to be rough for the Broncos to hold on to this postseason spot. I think the Dolphins are going to be right on their coattails, and I do think the Dolphins will eventually get that spot in the postseason. But for now, yeah, we are taking the Broncos to go into Las Vegas and win. They are the better team. They are the much better team in this game. The Raiders are going to make mistakes. I like Gardner Minshew. He played probably his best game in a Raiders uniform last week in their loss to the Dolphins. But they still lost the game by 15 points. They don't have their run game. We'll see what happens to their run game, because Zamir White went out with injury. Alexander Madison went out with injury, who I, believe it or not, traded for in fantasy football for Patrick Mahomes. I have Jalen Hurts, so I was just like, you know what? I need to get value. I traded Mahomes for Madison. He gets hurt. Hopefully Alexander Madison plays this week. But with those two guys out, Amir Abdullah is now the number 1 back, and we can't really rely on a 30-year-old Amir Abdullah to be a consistent running back for the Vegas Raiders. So you know who led the Raiders in rushing yards last game? Jacoby Myers. Yep, their receiver had 20 rushing yards. Led Vegas in rushing yards last week at Miami. And I get it. They were down for most of the game, but my goodness. And again, Alexander Madison, most of his production comes through the pass game, so it's not even like he is a typical running back for them, because they don't run the ball. They just, they let Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, when he's healthy, just pitch it out to Madison. But how do the Raiders beat the Broncos? I don't know. I get it's a division game, and the game is in Las Vegas, so maybe some weird stuff can happen. I completely understand that, but I don't trust the Raiders to win this football game. I just don't. And the Broncos are the better football team. They simply put just are. Sean Payton, I've been a Sean Payton hater the last couple seasons. He's done a good job this year. I'll give him that. He's done a great job. Bo Nix has been good. I've hated on Bo Nix this year, I'll be honest. I've been the biggest, Zach Wilson should be starting guy that you're going to find, because I love Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson should still be the starter of the New York Jets. I think they'd have more wins with Zach Wilson right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. But give me Denver to beat up here on the Raiders. The Broncos are playing good football. How long will they stick around in this third wild card spot? I don't know. But I do think they're way better than Vegas, though. That goes without saying. Bo Nix, again, he's progressively gotten better and better as the season's gone on. I guess they've gone back to Javonte Williams as their lead back. I thought it was going to be the rookie at Notre Dame in Audric Estime as the starter, but I guess it is Javonte Williams again, which is completely fine. I think probably he is better than Estime this season. But I think Denver beats up on the Raiders here. The Raiders are, it's all they have is Minshew throwing to Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Other than that, they have no other reliable spots to go to on offense. They're completely one-dimensional. They don't run the ball. I don't think it's all Minshew's fault. I just think it's the Raiders absolutely atrocious. And again, we talk about the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes. If it's not Dallas, it's Vegas. You know what Vegas should do as well? They should get Coach Prime. I'm serious. You want hype around your team? You want intrigue around your team? Go out and make a deal that Deion Sanders cannot refuse. I'm serious. In this game, they'll give me the Denver Broncos to go to Las Vegas, dominate the football game, and cover the 5.5 points as well. Next up, we go on to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and to Lambeau Field. You've got the Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, the 49ers are like this close to being banned. I can't do it with this Niners team anymore. I really can't. What's going on? This is atrocious, and it's abysmal. And I get what you're going to say. Oh, the 49ers are injured. Oh, they're injured every year, and every team's dealing with injuries. Guys, the Niners have so much talent. It shouldn't be an, oh, we're injured type thing. You got Christian McCaffrey back. Ayuk's out. Oh, no. It's not like Debo's here. You picked a receiver in the first round. I get it, Kittle was out last game, but still. You picked Ricky Pearsall in the first round, and Jawan Jennings has been more than fine. Seriously, Jawan Jennings has been great for this football team. This team, though, has choked after choked after choked. And, I wonder who's the head coach. Oh, yeah, the guy who was the offensive coordinator when, the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. I'm not picking the 49ers until they win a football game. I'm not. Actually, I'm lying to myself. If they lose back-to-back games, I'm still taking them to beat the Bears because the Bears suck. But they're not. I don't think they get out this 2-game road trip with a victory. They're losing to both the Packers and the Bills. The Packers, they got lucky in their last game. The Packers haven't been playing lights out, but they're still better than the 49ers, don't get me wrong. Jordan Love has been just decent. He threw that weird interception in the first quarter in the end zone against the Bears, but I feel more than fine about the Packers winning this football game. This is more of a 49ers problem, but the Packers are good, don't get me wrong. Again, I think they'll struggle when they play the Lions. Obviously, they already have the season. When they go to Detroit, they're going to lose again. See, this is the thing with these NFC North teams. I don't think they're bad, but I compare them right away to the Lions because the Lions obviously in first place in that division. The Lions are going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're going to get the bye. That's where I automatically compare the Packers and the Vikings to the Lions. They're not even close to the Lions. That's the thing. The Lions have, the Vikings were a lot closer against Detroit, but that game was in Minnesota. When the Lions went to Green Bay, the game wasn't competitive. The Packers made it close at the end, but the Lions were up 24-3 in that football game at the end of the first half. I mean, it wasn't a close game. Now, back to the 49ers. They're injured, don't care. Guys, the 49ers are missing the playoffs. They're not making the postseason this year. Because think about it. They're not beating Green Bay on the road, which, by the way, we can get about even odds for, so give me Green Bay all day long. They're not going to Green Bay and winning. They're not going to Buffalo and winning. They'll beat the Bears. I think they probably will beat the Rams on Thursday Night Football, but that's a tough game, don't get me wrong. So we'll leave that one in the category, but we'll give it to them. So we'll say they're 2-2 from here on out. They're not going to Miami and winning. Don't think they're going to. They're not beating the Lions at home on Monday Night Football. And I don't think they go to Arizona and win either. This is a 7-10 football team, guys. Best case, okay, hear me out. Best case, they beat the Dolphins. You'll give them the Packers game. You'll give them the Arizona game. They're 10-7. That probably gets them in, but think about it. They need all of that just to get in the playoffs. Okay, the Cardinals are 6-4. We think they beat the Seahawks. I actually think they go to Minnesota and win. They'll beat the Seahawks again. They'll beat the Patriots. They'll beat the Panthers. That's 5 wins right there. Oh, that gives them 11. That does it. That clinches it. So the Rams game doesn't really matter. The Niners game doesn't really matter. Just look at the Cardinals schedule and look at the 49ers schedule. The Cardinals are in such a better position to win the NFC West than the 49ers right now. Again, Kyler Murray is having his best season in the NFL this year. He is. Kyler's been great. He's an elite quarterback now. The 49ers, again, do not play the schedule the Cardinals do. And honestly, they're not at the caliber the Arizona Cardinals are. Guys, the Niners just lost to the Seahawks at home. The same Seahawks team that didn't beat the Giants, that lost that game at home against the Rams. The Seahawks are not good. And the 49ers lost to that team. Guys, I can't pick the 49ers to win football games right now. And now they got to go on the road to the frozen tundra and play the Packers. I get it. It's not December yet, but still, you got to go on the road and play this football game. I do not like the Niners in this spot. I think they get it handed to them in this football game. And hey, Even if they are winning at the end of the first half and, hey, maybe at the end of the third quarter, they're just going to choke again. You can't trust the 49ers. You can't. You can't trust this football team. Give me the Green Bay Packers to win at home. They'll cover the 2.5. I absolutely love Green Bay in this spot. Give me the Packers minus 130 to beat the 49ers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Next up, we go on to that aforementioned other NFC West matchup. You've got the Arizona Cardinals on the road here against the Seattle Seahawks. I am so high on the Arizona Cardinals. They are playing their best football right now. They're on a 4-game winning streak over the Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, and Jets. But the Cardinals did exactly what they needed to do against the Bears and the Jets. And that's blow those teams out, not let those teams score and dominate. 29-9 victory over the Bears, 31-6 victory over the Jets. That's exactly what you're supposed to do to those teams. Exactly. Like, now you get the Seahawks. I don't know why the Cardinals are even against the Seahawks. Guys, this is highway robbery. Don't forget the Seahawks are the same team that has lost 5 of 7 games. They lost to the Giants. They lose to the Niners the first time. They beat them the second time, whatever. Lost to the Bills, got blown out. Lost to the Rams. Somehow beat the Falcons, which I still don't understand. But you know what? I just came to the conclusion. The Falcons suck at football. But they're somehow going to make the playoffs and going to, lose and get bitch slapped in the first round. To the, who are they probably going to play? The Vikings or the Commanders. Yeah, give me Arizona. Arizona's the way better football team. They just don't. Kyler Murray's been playing great this season, man. Marvin Harrison, again, has not been a game changer this year, but he's been good. Trey McBride has been Kyler Murray's #1 target. But the Cardinals just play good football, and their defense has really shown up this season, too. Arizona's defense has been great, and I do like the Cardinals in this spot against Seattle. I don't think the Seahawks are that great. Geno Smith, leads the NFL in passing attempts, and I think in yards still. They just air the ball out all game long because they're usually down. They beat the 49ers, but guys, the 49ers just are not a good football team. So that's why they beat San Francisco. The Cardinals are a way better team than the Niners are, and I expect Arizona to win this football game, and I expect Arizona to be in the postseason this year. I like what the Cardinals do. I like Kyler. I like their defense. I like their receiving core, and I like their run game too. I like Connor, but then they can also mix it up with Trey Benson and DeMercado as well. I think the Cardinals are the way better football team in this game. I don't think the Seahawks are that good. They're 5-5, and somehow both these teams are really everyone is still in it in the NFC West playoff picture or in the division hunt. Obviously, you have the Cardinals 6-4, Rams 5-5, Seahawks 5-5, Niners 5-5. But you know what week 12 is for the Arizona Cardinals? It's the week where they get away from all these teams. Arizona goes to Seattle and wins this football game at Lumen Field as we get another NFC West matchup. The Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football host the Philadelphia Eagles. And we like the Eagles in this game. We like the Eagles a lot. Give me Philadelphia to go on the road and beat the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles are the one team that I'm kind of scared about that's going to, potentially stop the Lions from getting out the NFC. That's the one team. They're playing great football. When Saquon's on, he is the best running back in the NFL, and it's not even close. Jalen Hurts, I think the passing game out of Jalen Hurts will hurt them in the postseason, but that is a bridge we will cross at a later date. A.J. Brown's maybe the best receiver in the NFL, or a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Justin Jefferson, obviously. Devontae Smith is great. He just knows how to get open. And again, Jalen Hurts is going to hurt you with his legs probably more than with the pass game, no pun intended. I like the Eagles to win this football game. I get it. The Rams are 5-5 now. They have won 4 of 5. But that loss again to the Dolphins still sticks out to me. When they play a really good team, they lose. The Vikings just had a bad game when they play the Rams the first time on Thursday Night Football. The Eagles, I just think, are the better football team as a whole. I just think they are. I really like what they're able to do with the run game, again, with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. And obviously, again, the Eagles, just that element of the tush-push, too. They only need 9 yards on a drive on the first 3 downs, because if they get 9 yards, damn well they're pushing Hurts to get that first. Again, Stafford has been better. Stafford's been a lot better since he's gotten most of his linemen back, since he's gotten Puka and Cooper Kupp back. Kyren Williams has taken somewhat of a back seat the last couple weeks because, again, the pass game is back with Nakua and with Cooper Kupp, which is great. But I don't think the Rams win this football game. I think they're outmatched. The Eagles secondary does kind of concern me sometimes, I will be honest. But I do just think this is a high-scoring affair, and it's a high-scoring affair that I think the Eagles can just outpace the Rams in and outscore the Rams in. So I'm going to take Philadelphia to win the game here on Sunday Night Football. I think they're the better team, and I do think they'll cover the 3 points as well. I love everything that Jalen Hurts is doing this season so far. Again, I think in the postseason it's going to come back to hurt the Eagles, his inability to throw the football sometimes, and the inconsistency out of Hurts in the past game. But right now, we're fine taking the Eagles pretty much down the stretch here this season. They'll probably win the NFC East, I'll be honest with you. They do get a game in Washington at the end of the season, but for now, again, I really do like the Eagles to win this football game. Give me Philadelphia to win on the road in Los Angeles, and they will cover the 3 points as well. As we go on to our final game, it's the Harbaugh Bowl on Monday Night Football. You've got the Baltimore Ravens going to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Give me the Chargers. Home dogs. We like the Chargers to get this one, okay? As long as they don't play an abysmal second half like they did last week against the Bengals. I know they pulled it out in the fourth quarter, but that third quarter and the first half of the fourth quarter was absolutely atrocious for Los Angeles. If Justin Herbert can play like he did in that first half, oh my goodness, he's the best quarterback in the NFL if he keeps playing like that. I'm officially putting Justin Herbert in the top 5 right now in the NFL in terms of quarterbacks. He's that good. Watch that first half. That was a masterclass out of Justin Herbert and his ability to run the football too. And given the receiving core that he's got, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly, nothing against those guys, and I think Ladd McConkey is going to be a real good football player in this league for a very long time. But he does not have an elite receiver on his football team, and these are the numbers Justin Herbert's putting up, and he's got this team to 7-3. Again, give credit to Jim Harbaugh, sure, but a lot of that credit's got to go to Herbo as well. Justin Herbert's playing great this year. I think the Chargers are going to have the Ravens figured out here. And this is the Baltimore team that's coming off a loss to the Steelers. I get it. They always play the Steelers difficult. Another thing to watch out for, too. What's going on with Justin Tucker? The most consistent kicker in NFL history has had a bad year this year. A really bad year. His missed field goals in the Steelers game lost the Ravens the game. Just did. The Ravens played the Bengals close. They blew out the Broncos, sure. But I feel like, again, going on the road for Baltimore, this is a rough game. Baltimore has struggled on the road this season. They have. They almost blew that game against the Cowboys earlier in the year. They lost to the Chiefs. Sure, they beat Tampa Bay, but they lost at Cleveland. They lose at Pittsburgh. And now you go to Los Angeles on Monday night against the Chargers. John versus Jim Harbaugh. I like the Chargers in this football game, man. Something that doesn't get stated enough about this Chargers team, their defense is great. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And again, Joe Burrow is just that good to the point where Cincinnati was able to put up that many points against them. But the Chargers defense is excellent. They're really good. And I think they're going to give Baltimore a lot of problems in this game. I don't think Lamar is able to have that crazy of a game. And I do really like the run defense out the Chargers as well, to the point where I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be able to get going that much. The Chargers play great run defense. Again, their secondary, with their injuries and with their inexperience in their secondary, that will hurt them sometimes. But I think they're going to force Lamar Jackson to beat them with his arm, which obviously, again, Lamar has done to teams in the past. There's no more argument. Oh, Lamar can't throw. He's a running back, obviously. But if you want to make the Ravens beat you, that's probably how you're going to want to do it, rather than, let's just let Derrick Henry run all over us all game long. I think the Chargers are able to score. I think the Ravens are able to score too, but I think in the end, again, that Chargers defense is the difference in the Chargers winning this football game on Monday Night Football. So we do like the Chargers to win at home here on Monday night. I think they beat the Ravens. I do like them to cover the 3 points, obviously, but we're taking the money line for the Los Angeles Chargers to beat the Baltimore Ravens here on Monday Night Football in the Harbaugh Bowl. We like the Chargers to win, picking up a huge game, by the way, in not just the AFC wildcard race, but we have the Chiefs again losing to the Panthers. So, just saying, it puts the Chargers right back into the AFC West title picture. I'm just saying. I don't think they'll win the AFC West, but still, I'm just saying it's out there. Give me Los Angeles to win on Monday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. And folks, that'll do it for our week number 12 NFL predictions here on the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back next week for our week 13 predictions. And again, make sure to check out the channel for our college football picks, NBA, college basketball, and the UFC picks as well. Links are in the description down below. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.